Okay, so this is episode 6, Witchy Wednesday videos, and I told you that I was going to do I'm going to do like a talk on divination. Divination is you're trying to divine events. So essentially trying to foretell the future. Sometimes, more often than not, and what's the case for me is I really do a bunch of finding things out about people that already exist through the tarot cards, of course. I'm titling this video The Mancies because I'm going to go through, though there are literally hundreds of different kinds of Mancies. And by Mancies, I mean, I'm talking like bibliomancy, cartomancy, and things of that. Divination methods. Sorry. Anyhow, I think I'm going to start off with a few, and I wrote them down on cue cards, not to be stupid, but so that you're able to see like how it's written, because a lot of them start with C's and they sound very similar, and I didn't want you to get confused. So I just wrote them down so I could show them to you on cards so you would have the spelling yourself. So if you ever want to research the word later, then you'd be able to, pause the video and be like, okay, that's how that's spelled, because you could be looking up one word and in fact thought you heard it a certain way. I'm rambling. So anyhow, I'm Thistle Nightbliss. We are going to discuss some divination techniques. First divination technique that I want to go over with you is bibliomancy. Bibliomancy is pretty cool because, when I've done bibliomancy, it's always been with the Bible. I always remember being younger and being like, tell me something I need to know, point me in the direction you need to point me to. Christians do this kind of divination all the time. All the time. At least, Christians that I know, where you take the book and you let it fall open to a page. The divine takes over, shows you the page that you need to read, you read it, you read around that page, find the information you need. That's happened more often, several times for me. So, bibliomancy, of course it doesn't have to be, it can be any. Maybe you have your BOS and you're looking for something, or you need to find something. You take the book and just let it flop. Look at what it has to say, look for the knowledge or the wisdom that's on that page. There you go. That's bibliomancy. I'd like to see, that being said, I'd like to see how, what they would call, with all the technology, of course, there's the internet. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeing me right now. And I'm wondering what kind of mancy it would be if, you divine something through Google. I'm just kidding. Anyhow, the next one I want to go over is capnomancy. Capnomancy. Capnomancy is divination by smoke. Not incense smoke, smoke. Something's on fire, you're looking at it, you're trying to see shapes. You can do divination by incense smoke. I can't think of what mancy that is right now, but you definitely can do it that way. It's just not capnomancy. Capnomancy is strictly divination by smoke, looking for your shapes, looking for words, all kinds of stuff, Here's my favorite, and one that I do all the time, and you guys know it, and it's cartomancy, and that's divination by cards. Divination by cards, of course. You can do playing cards. It doesn't have to be tarot cards. You know, however you're divining it, it's a tarot reading. It's pretty self-explanatory. Excuse me. Next one is, and I always have trouble pronouncing this thing, cataptromancy. Cataptromancy. It's divination by mirror. I think in this particular instance, the mirror is covered in water, but it be much like scrying, much like sitting back looking for images in the mirror, and particularly in, you know, a darkly lit room. I like to have incense going, so I've kind of got a combination of stuff going on here. It is not uncommon for me to have my incense going. I don't have a mirror, but if I did have a mirror, I would have it there while I'm doing my tarot readings. So I've got all this different stuff going on at one time. Another one that I like is geomancy. Now, geomancy is divining from the earth, reading the earth, paying attention to the earth, whether it's rocks or leaves or trees. You know, you're divining by watching the earth. It was explained to me wrongly one time. Geomancy was the study, or geomancy is divination by geometric shapes. It is not. It is divining from the earth. Geo, earth. Here's one. Zoomancy. That's pretty self-explanatory. It's divining by watching animals. Of course, it's watching the behaviors. More often than not, this kind of divination I would use. You see it a lot. If you've ever watched, what is it, the Animal Planet, the Haunted show, it's strictly a show about what happens to these animals during these hauntings. And I think you can learn a lot just by watching those animals. Essentially, that is zoomancy. When you're watching these shows, you're watching these animals react to this entity. You're being able to tell things from it, what's going on. Animals see things that aren't there, things that we can't see. Zoomancy makes sense. Here's one that I saw. I was looking, and trust me, there are hundreds of Mancies. I just picked out some that I am familiar with. Here's one that I saw. I couldn't. This has to be something old. I don't know what it is. Cephalomancy. And apparently this is divining by boiling an ass head. I'm going to assume that's a donkey head. But if anybody of you know anything about this, please let me know. I just stumbled onto this term and I thought I would bring it up, but I really, really, really want to know, like, what's the deal? How do you divine boiling an ass head? It hit me at first because of the words. I was just like, and I couldn't stop myself. And then I had to pull, like, my mature self back together and realize that they're talking about boiling a donkey's head and divining from that. But if anybody knows or has any idea how that works, boiling anything to divine something, let me know. That's something I'd be very curious to find out more about. And now the Mancy that I'm going to drop the bomb on you with. Something that a lot of kids or immature practitioners come and asking about. People have asked it of me. It's not that uncommon for people to ask about it. Necromancy. Necromancy is a controversial thing for me. When I first got into the craft, I was looking at strictly things that do not harm. And my husband was like, you need to look at things. You need to look at the whole picture. You need to understand things. If you prejudge something and you know absolutely nothing about it, that makes you the ass. And he's right. So immediately I'm looking for something on the left-hand path. And just to make myself familiar with it, I need to know what's going on. I need to figure out what the deal is. My husband is urging, you need to know a well-rounded thing. So I'm like, cool, I'll do that. Well, I'm reading. And what I'm getting is, necromancy is not death magic. It's not. Death magic is something entirely different that I don't touch with a 10-foot pole. But necromancy is not this weird, like, fantasy, like, you're not killing people. You're literally talking to and trying to divine information from the dead about the future or about something that's going on that you don't know about right now. That's what it is. I've had necromancy explained to me in skewed ways. And one particular skewed version of necromancy that was being told to me was that necromancy is watching something die and using the energy from that. That's not necromancy. I don't know what that is. That's serial killer. That's what that is. You know, people are so quick. They hear necro and they're like, oh my God, you know, that's not it. It's not. And no, I am not a necromantic practitioner. I am not that sensitive. I divine in different ways. Would that be nice? Yes. And I often do make jokes about being a necromancer in the zombie apocalypse because I would be, you know, more badass than Daryl Dixon. I'm just saying. If you needed somebody to help you in the zombie apocalypse, a necromancer with the ability to control the dead would be pretty useful. Anyhow, that's not where we're going here. The point is that necromancy is not death magic. It is not weirdness. It's really being a medium, honestly. You're just a medium and you're speaking with the dead. More often than not, you're not going to be speaking with anybody that's not an ancestor or a spirit guide. So all these warped definitions, seriously, just, I wouldn't even. Now, are there offshoots and variations of necromancy? Yes. I am not there yet. I am not on that educational level. I can't even master, you know, speaking with spirits. That's not something I do. I'm not gifted that way. My gifts are in tarot cards and in being able to concentrate and do a cast real easy. But necromancy is not this big movie special effects weirdness. It's also not this huge secret death magic. And it's definitely not using energy of something that's dying. That's called serial killer, not necromancy. And we don't do that here. Anyhow, I hope that I cleared up some things. Oh, I had a question about the bowl and a crystal ball, and the black crystal ball. Essentially, I gazed into a crystal ball before, and it was a dark one. I don't remember if it was obsidian or not. I know that the mirror was obsidian. But you've got the room dark around you. You should have some sage or some types of incense burning. And you basically stare into the ball and see if you can see shapes take form. Do you see an airplane? Do you see a dog? What do you see? You do the same thing in a bowl. Fill the bowl with water, preferably a dark bowl, and in a darkly lit room, and you're looking into the water in the bowl to see what images you see. Tea leaves. I've done the tea leaf thing before. You drink the tea with the loose tea leaves in, well, actually the way I did it was drink the tea, tear open the bag. When there's just a little bit of tea left, pour the tea leaves in there, swish it around, drink the rest of your tea, and then flip it over onto a towel to get all the water out of it, and then flip it back over, and you look at the images left in your tea glass. So different divination techniques, you're looking to see what things resemble, and you're looking to see, what's really going on. And it's not difficult to do. It is hard to get in the right frame of mind, or it can be hard to get in the right frame of mind, but you shouldn't overthink it. Otherwise, it's just going to be a mess, and you're going to get really frustrated. It's just not that hard. It's not that hard to tap into that part of yourself. But yeah, that's going to be the end of Witchy Wednesday today, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you found some sort of interesting weirdness. But that's it. I hope you have a great rest of the day and rest of the week. See you next Wednesday.